The movie opens with Mickey, a former baseball player, waiting for someone outside the house listening to music on a CD player when its battery dies. He changes the batteries and resumes rollicking when his friend, Ben, also his former baseball teammate, comes running out of the house, yelling at him to run as he shoots at something that is not revealed yet. The two friends are traveling the New England countryside in the aftermath of a zombie apocalypse with no clear destination. Between the spats with the undead, the two play catch and occasionally take jibes at each other as the time in isolation has started to take a toll on their friendship. After killing another zombie and stealing her car, Mickey is reminded of his girlfriend, and they land in her now abandoned house. While Mickey satisfies his underwear fetish, Ben rummages through the garage and finds two walkie-talkies. After stuffing their car with necessities, pillows, blankets, and a teddy bear, they are ready to leave. But Mickey wants to stay for a while. Ben outrightly opposes the idea, reminding Mickey of the time they were trapped in a house in Massachusetts, along with Mickey's family, for 3 months, and they survived on dog food before Ben had to kill the dog as they ran out of food. The entire incident has made Ben develop an aversion to staying indoors, and it often leads to the two arguing about the matter. Ben has adapted to their new lifestyle, which includes scavenging for supplies and constantly moving. However, Mickey longs for stability and a normal life and has the self-preservation instinct of a cheeseburger, so he carries out the tasks in a perfunctory manner and refuses to learn the basic survival skills, even refusing to shoot the zombies when confronted with, often isolating himself and getting lost in the music. Ben would sometimes take advantage of Mickey's loud music and scare him as a lesson, reminding him to turn down the volume and be aware of his surroundings. While resting after traveling the entire morning, Mickey replaces the walkie-talkie's batteries to test out the range, but to their surprise, they overhear a conversation between two survivors, Anne and Frank, who also mention the name Orchard. And from their conversation, it can be made out that Orchard is an organized group of survivors. Mickey looks hopeful and eagerly tries to reach back, calling out their names, and when Frank replies, Mickey asks if they can join them as they need a place to stay. But Frank flatly refuses, saying there is no vacancy, and even goes on to ask him to never contact them again. So Mickey does what any zombie apocalypse survivor would do and tries contacting them several times after that. But no one answers, frustrating Mickey, and he takes it out on Ben, who laughs it out. For several days, Mickey doesn't give up and tries to contact Annie, but she never replies, and Ben concludes Mickey has a crush on Annie. In the hopes of finding their location, Mickey convinces Ben to drive around till they find a motel, and while checking the rooms, they run into zombies. Even though the zombies killed his family members, Mickey is still averse to killing them, and Ben has to step in to do the deed. One day, Mickey is still sleeping when Ben goes out to shower at a waterfall nearby. It is his first shower in months, and he squeals in joy as the cold water hits him. Meanwhile, back in the car, Mickey is startled when a female zombie suddenly appears near the window and tries to reach him from the slit. Initially, Mickey is terrified, but when he sees her sheer garments, the basic human instinct kicks in and he decides to give himself a hand. But soon, his hedonistic pursuit ends with Ben blowing the woman zombie's brains out. When Ben realizes what Mickey was doing, he couldn't stop laughing and leaves to give Mickey some time to recuperate. The duo travels further and finds many houses in the forest that they explore and decides to rest in one of them. After looking around and finding a cozy bedroom, Mickey assertively declares that they are sleeping inside the house. Ben eases up about his not sleeping inside notion and agrees to ease Mickey's frustration. However, he borrows Mickey's CD player and wants him to experience how it feels to stay alert and not hide and drown everything in music. That night, Mickey talks on the walkie-talkie and tries contacting Annie again, and surprisingly gets a reply from her. She asks him to let it go and adds Orchard is not the place he thinks it is. But Mickey is ready to risk it because he is done living like a rat trapped in a cage. But when she asks about his friend, Mickey replies he doesn't even know Ben that well, repelling Anne, and she asks him to stay away from the connection, accompanied by a much-deserved curse word. Meanwhile, Ben sings along to the music as he drinks and dances, but soon gets startled by a sound and goes to check it. The next morning, Ben stands near Mickey's bed while Mickey is still sleeping and places a baseball bat on the bed. He then goes outside near the woods and walks towards the zombie he tied up last night. He carefully takes the zombie to Mickey's room and shoves him inside before shouting his name and asking him to wake up, initiating a game of who gets to not have breakfast. He then locks the door and encourages Mickey to kill the zombie with a bat he left in the room. Mickey pleads to let him out, followed by sounds of struggle, but soon all stops and a raspy panting is heard. Ben opens the door to find Mickey covered in blood and the zombie lying lifeless on the bed. Ben congratulates Mickey on his first ever kill, but Mickey is not in the mood and attacks Ben, giving him a bloody nose before storming off. Ben follows Mickey outside the rain and tries to cheer him up, but Mickey breaks down and cries like a baby as he reveals his conversation with Annie. He liked Annie and believed there was a connection between the two, but it broke before it could develop further. Ben does his best to sound empathetic and takes Mickey inside the house to get him cleaned. Mickey's first zombie kill and getting his heart broken had a considerable impact on him, and he started engaging himself in all the activities he used to avoid. He learns to fish, spends less time with his headphones on and more time talking to Ben, and they rekindle their friendship using baseball as a common medium to connect. They continue traveling, and while driving, they find an abandoned car in the middle of the road, blocking their way. So they stop by to inspect and steal gas from it, and while Ben prepares to extract the fuel, Mickey leans on the hood and finds it is still hot. He alerts Ben, who touches it, and realizes there is someone else out there with him. He calls out, but when no one answers, Ben goes back to extracting the gas. But when he's done and ready to leave, he sees Mickey has been taken hostage at knife point by a man demanding his car keys from Ben. Ben doesn't comply and tries to talk him down, but the man catches onto it and gets furious. He blames someone for lying to him about helping him survive the apocalypse, but doesn't reveal who and threatens to gouge out Mickey's eyes. Ben tells him the keys are in the ignition and keeps his gun away, all in return for the man to let go of Mickey. As soon as the man lets go of Mickey, Ben pulls out the keys from his pocket, making the man run for his life, but Ben shoots him dead before he can escape. Soon after, a truck approaches them, and two survivors get down after making sure they are not a threat to them and even offer a can of gas. The woman inspects the car and asks the duo if they saw the man driving the car, to which Ben lies that the man was bitten and he had to shoot him. The woman says Ben did the right thing and explains that the man had stolen the car from them. Her companion refuels the car and they get ready to leave when Mickey stops her and calls her Annie, as he recognizes her voice from the walkie-talkie. Annie initially refuses to acknowledge it, but then pulls out a gun and shoots Ben in his leg. Along with her companion, she points her gun at Mickey and asks for their car keys to prevent them from following her. She then flings the keys into the grassland nearby and leaves with her companion, warning them she'll kill them if she ever sees them again. After they're done, Mickey searches the grassy patch for the keys, but it is getting dark, and Ben suggests they look for it in the morning. As they're sleeping in the car, Mickey wakes up Ben after hearing noises, and they soon find the car surrounded by zombies. In the morning, the car shakes as all the zombies try to get in, and the duo has no other option but to lock themselves inside. Days pass, but nothing changes, and Mickey starts getting frustrated by the noise, but Ben surprisingly finds it soothing at this point. Every day becomes a struggle, to the point that Mickey covers the windows with blankets as he doesn't want to see their faces anymore. And Ben has also started losing his nerve. Determined to make it alive, they decide that Mickey should step out of the car through the sunroof and try to find the keys while Ben waits in the car, intently listening and hoping Mickey would make it back. After waiting for what seems like an eternity, Ben hears Mickey calling his name. Ben is overjoyed and excitedly opens the sunroof for him to come in, but Mickey is silent even when Ben asks if he found the keys and lifts his hand to reveal he was bitten by the zombie. Mickey starts crying and Ben panics, not knowing what to do. Ben suddenly points the gun at Mickey, asking him to get out of the car, as he cannot risk being stuck with him. Mickey cries and pleads with Ben to let him stay, scared for his life, but Ben pulls the trigger, killing Mickey, and lets out a scream in anguish at losing a friend. With his only companion gone, Ben sits still, staring into nothingness as if in shock. He then talks into the walkie-talkie, narrating his account from when they were trapped in a house for 3 months. He then addresses Annie and blames her for Mickey's demise and adds he's going to get out of the situation he's in. If he can't make it, he'll end his life. But if he makes it out alive, he's coming for her to avenge his friend's death. He then puts on his shoes, wears Mickey's CD player, and leaves the car, which they both could have done earlier. As he walks down the road with a baseball bat in his backpack, he is followed by a multitude of zombies. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.